Hello, welcome to Coffee and Conversation with Black Women. I am Patrice Tevis, a licensed marriage and family therapist and the founder of Coffee and Conversation. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of the strong Black woman. I mean, is it a concept or is it real? And is it good for our overall wellness? I'm going to first start by introducing the panel and then tell us who you are, tell us what you do. Starting with this lady.
Okay, my name is Sharon Miller, and I'm a social worker for Coffee and Conversation, and that's what I do.
My name is Kiana Rowe. I am the project manager for Coffee and Conversation. I'm also a public servant for a local law enforcement agency in the area.
And?
Good morning. My name is Trina Kennedy, and I am a mom of two boys, both adults at this time, and I work for a local healthcare agency.
So we are all public servants. That's probably why we're here having this conversation. You know, I've been hearing about the strong Black woman are strong, you strong, and sometimes how we console each other. Girl, you strong, you know you got this. Can I just tell you this? I know they say hate is a word we should never use, but I hate it. We are all only as strong as we are. Mm-hmm. And my concern is we're pumping somebody up and they may not really be doing well with this particular issue.
I agree.
Is it good? Because this whole Project SOAR is about overall wellness and all the factors that go into making us a whole person, socially, financially, mentally, all of those things. And so what do we're a small little snippet of the population, but we have a voice. How do you feel about the strong Black woman? Somebody, let's go.
I gotta agree with you. I don't like that concept because we're looked at in a completely different way. And it's to like, no matter what you go through, you can't show any tears, you can't show any fear, you gotta show that you're hard and you're strong. And then that in itself is conceived a totally different way. Mm-hmm. So when I think about that, when you sent that out and I thought about that, because I'm a Christian woman, I had to think of it spiritually. And I think about, I don't want to give out the wrong scripture, so I'm just going to say what the scripture says. And it basically says that God is only going to give you as much as you can bear. He may give me something that she can't bear. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to something we said earlier about that support. Mm-hmm. Help me get through this situation.
Right.
And I'll give a quick example. I called my daughter, something in my spirit just said, give her a call. And when I called her, she said, I just pulled up in my driveway. And I can tell in her voice that something wasn't right. And she just went bawling and crying. And then to make the story short, she said, Mom, I just don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I said, God is only going to give you as much as you can bear. And he's only going to give it to you because he knows you can handle it. You may need support in other areas to do certain things, but right now you got this. You got this. And that's the only way I felt that I could respond to her. From being, at this age now where we are, going through so many situations in life ourselves. There's times when I got to call Patrice and say, hey, put that therapy hat on, girl. I need you right now. Right. Forget the friendship. I need you to be real with me, and I need you to talk to me right now. Yeah. And we do that.
We all need that.
And we all need that.
Where does this concept even stem from? Like we talked about this.
I think it stems from history where, way back and when we first became a part of this country, where we had to, have children and work the fields and from sun up to sundown and the whole thing, the salt of the earth. We had to, we were as strong as we were then too though, And then it just kind of continues to, move forward. Even when we use the scripture for somebody who's not like a person who believes in that, when you say, God is not going to give you more than you can bear, you're still telling that person, you got it, you can do this. But I do like the with support. I believe that the strong Black woman gives the impression, especially to Black males, that we don't need them. Now, we're not saying that. I'm not saying that people are saying that, but we don't need them. We're strong. It kind of translates into, because I always hear men say this, I never heard a woman say it though, I don't need a man.
Yep.
We're not, okay, I'm just going to pass this on to Trina now. What do you think?
I'll be really honest with you. I think that I spent a lot of time in the concept of a strong black woman. And in my mind, that meant that I had to do it all.
Yes, yes.
And I think that there's a difference between concept and truth.
Right.
I think it's simply a concept, because I think the truth of the matter is we are incapable of doing it all. And I think what happens is you attempt to do it, but there's always some fallout, you know?
Your health.
Yeah. And I think that that's exactly, if I could be really honest, if I could do a do-over,
Yes.
I would like to live in my truth, which
Girl,
is
speak. Yes.
which is I just can't do it all.
Yes.
And I think I wish that I could have been more honest. I raised 2 boys, and if I'm really honest, I found myself being not just a woman, but also a man. And I'm a horrible man.
Well, we're glad to know that.
I wonder why.
And I think that's the reason that concept and truth is so important.
Right.
You know? And if I lived, I wished the do-over part would be to live more in the truth of what you can't do.
Yes. And ask for help.
And also stay in prayer. Because I think if you could do things like my dad once told me, I said, Dad, how do you handle stress? And then he said, honestly, I learned at a very young age that things that you can't do, you need to pass on to God and ask God to take it. And I think if I would have done that more, because I think the concept was difficult, but I think I did the very best. And I think if I lived a little bit more in my truth, it was too much. And I'm not really sure if, if I was honest about it being
The
too
problem
much.
when you hear it, like if I tell Kiana, oh girl, you know you're strong. So then she goes off and attempts to be strong. Then, and is she gonna make good decisions? Is she really strong? Can she really say, no, I'm not? Because sometimes that doesn't allow us to say that. It doesn't allow you to live in your truth.
Yep.
It's going to impact her in her health, mental health, physical health, emotional health.
Yep.
We really need to undo it so we can allow people to live in their truth.
Yep.
It's just tough because you think when you think of the opposite of strong is weak, and weak is bad. You know, weak.
Right.
That's how we, I think, receive it. And so, women, when you talk about Black women in particular, there's a disproportionate amount of perhaps broken homes where a woman is now made to, you said, be a man and a woman and do everything on their own. And then you get, just like you were saying, even though we're telling someone you can be strong, you can do it, and our intentions are good, but then, so now you don't feel like you're even allowed to have the option of saying, no, I can't do it.
Exactly.
We spoke about friendship in the last, in one of our podcasts, and same thing. You have to be strong in your friendships. The friendships are, they tell you all their stuff and you have to just take it on, and you don't feel safe to release your stuff because you have to be the strong one, you know? So it's definitely, it takes a toll on you because you feel like you can't, you're showing weakness, and weakness is bad, you know? Is it bad? I don't know, but I'm like, I can't be weak.
What's interesting about that is sometimes saying I can't is a sign of strength.
I know.
That part.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't know that.
You don't think
You don't
that
think
in
it
your
because
mind.
it's
Sometimes you gotta knock on somebody's door and say, girl, I just need to talk. And look crazy. You know? I'm just
But
saying.
it's embarrassing. Like it's true, but I think it's necessary.
But
But
you
it's
might
like,
live a little longer.
it takes
true.
vulnerability.
Yeah.
It takes being vulnerable to be able to
It just takes
to do
being
that.
human.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I went through that phase of being married with 3 children, then getting a divorce
Yep.
and having to raise these 3 children by myself.
Yep.
And again, like you said, I was thinking, oh, I got this. I can do this. And it was hard.
Yep.
And there were plenty of nights I went to bed crying, just like, Lord, give me the strength to get up and continue to take care of these kids. And then I see other single women who've been doing it by themselves. And I'm like, dang, she's got 2 girls as well. How is it that her girl's hair looking cute every morning? I'm struggling trying to get over here, girl. You comb your hair, I'm trying to fix it to make it look right before they get ready to go to school. And it was like, how are these women doing it? But that concept was there.
Yep.
We Black women, we strong. I saw my aunties, raising their daughters, and they was always flawless and everything. And it was just like, I'm glad these kids have a uniform to wear to school.
Yeah.
Because trying to figure out what clothes you're going to wear, that stuff. And I was running myself ragged and didn't realize it.
Yeah.
But I think
Didn't realize it.
the concept too, you were talking about we can't do everything well. You can't do it all well. And
Something's given.
You talk about your auntie, your grandma, and you think about that generation, we've added so much stuff. And so that generation was able to perhaps work inside the home, and that was their focus, and they can get the hair right, they can get dinner. My grandma had dinner. She was a bus driver, but I remember dinner was done at like 1. I'm like, what are you doing? She's thinking about what we're doing, making potato salad for tonight. And so,
I know.
But now we've
that's
added
a concept now.
Yeah,
Right. What we don't have for dinner.
But now you've got a job. You add certain, they had marriage, but now you add working outside of the home and inside of the home. All these other activities, all the other things, and you just feel overwhelmed. You can't work 9 days a week, but I am. I'm like, how am I fitting all this time? So. We just have to realize that we can't do it all, and to be that. You mentioned earlier about, I really believe, and we don't want to get so spiritual, but you're talking about that verse about more than we can bear. I don't know if I receive it that way as much as God gives us all this stuff so that we know that we need Him more than He's not going to give us more than I can bear. He's going to give it all and say, no, you can't bear it. You're going to need me to bear it. You're going to need me to be able to do that. So I think it's important because we tell everybody, it's like, no, that's how you know. Anyway, that's the point of this topic.
From that, we need community.
Yes.
We need each other.
Yes.
Right.
We need to
share the load.
prioritize. We need to, because while we are running around today adding everything to our plates, including things that really don't matter, like status and position. And I mean, I know it's important to promote on these jobs and stuff, but we have to decide what our focus is.
Yeah.
We have to just decide who we are, how we're going to be, how we want to show up in this world.
Yeah.
And forget the rest. Don't let people give you titles that you don't need to wear. And that's what we're trying to wear all these titles and all these hats. What we need to do is why are we raising kids by ourselves? Try to get the support we need from the community, from their fathers, from whoever we need it from, and slow down.
Yeah.
Everything can't be as important as the next thing, because if we're going to deconstruct, we're going to have nervous breakdowns, we're going to fall out. What you're looking at is pain, and you think you're looking at strength.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And then they want to say we angry. Well, that's we gonna be. We tired. We overworked. We overwrought. We overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Of course we're tired.
Yeah.
Of course we're angry.
There was a thing, a course that I took, and it was about values. And you started off with like about 50 different values. They were all perforated. They're sitting in front of you, and we were told to take away values down to 15. And then after you got these 15 values in front of you, the things that are important, family, friendship, could be work, health, then you take those 15 to 7. And then you took those 7 to 3. And it kept getting harder. Some was easy, but some was hard. But the point of it is when you mention priorities, what is important? And as you what everything can't be important, because if it is, then nothing's important. What is it that makes us go that we can say, no, I'm going to let that go. You said say no. That means that's strength.
No.
I'm like, I can't say no. Everybody wants a piece of you, wants this, and you just got to give a piece of you.
I also think that the angry Black woman is a concept too. But I think there's some truth to us being angry, because as any people, as we make poor decisions, as we add more to our plates, as we make decisions that aren't good for our overall wellness, you're probably going to see anger, which is probably a sign of depression, which could be a sign of anxiety, because we get a lot of anxiety, which could be a sign of anything. So we don't even know what we're looking at. We have to have these deeper conversations so we could start bringing out who we are. Sharon has the strength to say, girl, put your therapy hat. I don't care about no friendship. I need to talk. I don't care about no pride. I don't care about no expectations. I don't care what you think of me. I need to talk. Right. Everybody needs to be able to do that sometimes. And have somewhere to go to do that. And as long as we don't, I always talk about our health. Our health in the Black community is pretty poor. Black men and women are at the bottom.
Right.
There's a reason for that.
Yep.
Could it be that Trina and I are faking with each other and we ain't talking?
Could be.
I want to be strong like her. I want to be strong like Patrice, and ain't neither one of us strong.
Right.
Okay? We both failing miserably, but
Yep.
we're covering it up with some pretty lip gloss.
Yep.
So we have to, what's the change? What do we do different?
For me, it did have to impact health. I did go down a road of anxiety, depression, and then a little bit of panic attacks.
Yeah.
And then just a few months ago, I ultimately ended up with a heart attack. And unfortunately,
Wow.
it's when your health crumbles that you are faced with
Too bad, huh?
looking in the mirror because you've been trying to deal with the concept that it's just not your truth.
Yes.
Wow.
And that was what it took in order for me to start giving things to God, because there's just too much and you just can't handle it all. And so for me, I had to break the cycle.
Wow. That's,
I remember I had to go through this. I didn't have a heart attack, but during the time when I thought, I got this, I can do it all. I'm just, like you said, I'm running through, I'm putting the lipstick on, I'm putting on the baggy jeans. Patrice always laugh at me with my baggy jeans.
Oh
But
my God.
I used to just throw, because I wasn't taking care of me.
right.
exactly.
And I remember one day, my whole body just felt like it was just shutting down.
Yep.
And I had no control over it.
Yep.
And I remember this one counselor I was going to, dealing with the whole trauma of the divorce and all that. And when I felt that day, I felt so much anxiety and know what to do.
Yep.
I was in tears. I remember it was a work day. I was in my state car.
Oh my
I
God.
pulled over. I went to his office. I got out the car. I was just in tears. I walked to the office. I was standing there beating on the door, and I was like, help me, help me, help me. It was,
Wow.
This man came out, he was a physical therapist, and he came out of the other room and he said, ma'am, are you okay? And I said, no, I am not okay. I said,
That's
I need
it.
somebody right now.
Yeah.
And whew,
Bless your heart.
just that moment.
Right.
Yep.
And it let me know right then and there,
Yep.
you can't do this by yourself.
You just can't.
You need help. You need support. You need to reach out. You need to let people know where you are. And I remember after that, I went to one of my girlfriend's house, and my girl in Tennessee, and she said, girl, she said, I looked at you, and when you walked in that door, I said, oh my God, what has happened to my friend? And she just grabbed me and we cried. And from that moment, I said, I'm not doing this.
See?
I said, I'm no good to my children. I can't go home and take care of my kids. I'm just a mess.
And see,
From that point on, it's like I can't.
that was a crisis. That was a little breakdown.
But you don't want to go there.
No, you don't want to go. And yeah, when you talk to our people and you say, oh, so-and-so had a nervous breakdown, we act like that's an impossible thing to happen to us.
Or embarrassing.
Or you got, or it's something where you pass out and you're in a rocking chair looking like this all the time. That's not, nervous breakdowns happen all the time. And that's not even a clinical term for it. But people are in crisis every single day.
But our options, I feel like, and I think this is part of our community too, our options are pray it away. You just pray it
Yeah.
away. If you go to church enough, if you do these things,
You might need-
you don't,
more.
there's no, you feel weird to go to a therapist. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and
right,
those
right.
are, those
'Cause
are
back then
very,
it wasn't normal.
yes,
Right.
it's so important.
Start with
it's so
start
important
with
to be
some
able
people
to,
you can be real with.
Yeah.
And then now that we are in a more modern time, we need to start. There are therapists who understand us that aren't black. If you can't find somebody who looks like you, find somebody. Might save your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that's good.
Seriously.
That's good.
Yep.
This is critical to our well-being. We are mothers. We are grandmothers.
Yep.
How are we going to be a part of making the community stronger? And the community has to learn to sustain itself. It's not going to do it if we've fallen out.
You know what I think it is? I think it's God's divineness that allows our own foolishness to bring us back to Him.
Well, yeah. True.
And I think that breakdown is different for every person.
Right.
For some, it might have been a heart attack, and for others, it might have been the breakdown in the car. But I
Right.
think all of it goes back to what she said earlier. It's how God gets our attention, so
It-
that we remember we
remember.
can't do it all,
Right.
and that we need to give whatever that we can't do back to the Lord.
And it's because we are human beings, and I believe that we really thrive better in community,
Yep.
which includes friendships, which includes a healthy relationship with yourself. We've got to change this
Yep.
by being able to reach out to our sisters
Right. Right.
and steer them in the right direction. Never tell a woman, a black woman or any woman, you got this, you strong, without explaining that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll be sending her and generations behind into the same path we were in.
Yep.
You know, there was a time when I thought in my life if I started to cry, I wouldn't be able to stop. That's when I should have been crying.
Exactly.
I mean,
Let
at
it
least
out.
for a weekend, you know,
Wow.
right?
That
Or go to somebody's house and do it. So I'm just letting everybody know, because we have to wrap this up. You know, it's okay to cry. It's okay to say I can't do it. It's okay to not do it. It's okay to leave some things not completed,
Yep.
because it's really okay for you to take care of you.
Yep.
And when you see somebody struggling, when you see that someone is in need, offer
Yeah.
to help. Even if you
Yes.
say, hey, if I can't help you, here's some resources.
Right.
You
And
know,
that's
some
what we try
places
to
you can
do.
go, some things that you can do.
That's how the
Absolutely.
community
Yeah.
will sustain itself. I want to say
Yeah, this
thank you,
community.
ladies, for having this conversation and
It
for
was a
sharing
great
your
one.
wonderful
Thank you so
stories.
much.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll be back.